Hey y'all, how y'all doing? So this is episode 3, Shop in the Stash, and we can get the formal stuff out of the way. I'm Beverly. I own and operate Design BCB on Etsy and Go Imagine, and Abbey and Lincoln on Etsy. Design BCB on Etsy. You can find my patterns and then some hand knit accessories. On the Go Imagine shop, it's more home decor, handcrafted items. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that later because that's a little bit of a shift. And then on Abbey and Lincoln, that is my shop for my faith-based stickers and planner pages and things like that. Basically digital stickers, all faith-based. And today is March 18th. We are already more than halfway through March. This year is going along, and I will have to say, we did not have much of a winter. Usually I'm happy when we get through February with just one snowstorm. We had very minimal winter this year, and I'm not complaining. And March could come in and kick us in the butt if it wants to, because isn't it March comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb, but it's been very lamb-like so far. And so, hey, I ain't mad at that at all. So, like I said earlier, there's been a little bit of a shift. And I had this idea during one of my classes when it was probably my life business class, talking about how things flow. And when I was looking at my design list, I have a design list that tells me the things that I'm going to work on, so I don't waste a lot of time or spend a lot of time saying, what am I going to make next? I don't know what to make next. I actually set aside some time in my calendar to think about what I'm going to make next. I put it on a design list, and then I just go down the list. But as I was looking at the list recently, I noticed it was a little light in the sense that I didn't have any original patterns on the list, and I didn't have anything that was specifically looking for the niches that my shops are built for. So I had to go back and redo the design list to include those things, and that's when I decided to separate the work from Design BCB on Etsy from what I'm going to do with Design BCB on Go Imagine. Looking at the things that sell on the Etsy shop and don't sell on the Etsy shop, and looking at the things that sell on the Go Imagine shop, it looks like they're attracting two different types of audience. And so I will play into both on each shop. So that being said, I kind of tanked the design list. So some of the things I was working on the design list are on the back burner for the moment. They are coming back. Everything that's on it will come back eventually. But I did a rehash to include doing the original patterns and then being much more specific to the niches that I'm working with. The niches being the Divine Nine, the African American sororities and fraternities, and then the boho style. So I'm going to be very specific about those things coming up. So with that being said, I do have 4 whips I'm going to tell you about. 3 of them are knit related. 1 is digital related. And actually, you've already seen that, but I'll give you an update on it. But first, before we do that, the last video I was working on a cowl, a twisted cowl from Pearl Soho, and Naomi here is wearing it. See? This is the twisted cowl from Pearl Soho, and it's a free pattern. And if you go onto their website and look at their patterns archive, I think it's still on the first page. They have put a lot of stuff up, but this is the twisted cowl. The one that I made in blue or in turquoise and black has already been sold. My best friend saw it and bought it before it even got into the shop. And so this one is here. I had actually placed this one in the Go Imagine shop and not the Etsy shop, but I'm going to put it in the Etsy shop as well. So that's really the only finished item. I had another hooded scarf and some other things that I had orders for. I still have orders to do, and I'll show you what I'm working on for one of the orders. But other than that, not a lot of finished objects. So thank you for your service, Naomi. You may go back over there and rest. And so what I'm working on, the other things I'm working on, first I'll tell you about the digital thing. I was working on a digital set called The Word, which are words and phrases that I picked up from the Bible. That is all done and it's available in the shop right now. I will put a link in the description box so you can go and check it out. But also from what I'm making from some of the designs in that shop, I'm also making an SVG pack for some of them. So an SVG is a file that will allow you to print on mugs or t-shirts or backpacks or make wall art. And so some of them will be are now available for that, and there are a few more coming for that. So you should check it out. If I remember, I will put that. I'm going to say you probably saw it because I plan on putting that in the beginning frame when things open up. So you can check that out. That's another finished / in progress item. But now for the things that are currently on the needle, other headband, another double knit headband. I don't know that I'm going to do a pattern for this, and if I do, it might be a freebie because it's relatively straightforward, nothing too complicated about it. This one I'm going to just knit this until it's 18 inches, then do the twist and add it to the collection of things that will start, of headbands that will start to go into the Etsy side. This one is being made out of I Love This Yarn by Hobby Lobby in the color of olive. Should be done another session, another couple hours, it'll be done. So working on that. That's number 1. Number 2, the second thing I'm working on is a pattern. Is this it? Yeah, for another headband. Um, the way this headband is being made on 3 needles makes it susceptible to putting in cables or other stitches, and so I'm doing a little rick-rack action, and then the rest of it is just the plain sides of it. This, I say, is a beginner pattern, and I'm working on that. The thing that I'm running into, though, that I'm finding for me is because it's a simple 2-row repeat, and the action, all the fun magic really only takes place on this one panel. But what I'm finding is I have to really pay attention to whether or not I'm on an odd row or an even row, so I don't repeat the row twice, or else it can really throw you off. Even though it's probably just me and how my mind works. So I'm probably the only one that would have that kind of a problem with it. But it's got a certain elegance to it that I really like. I really like. I do think this particular pattern will show up better in a lighter color, but this is what I chose to work it up in. And it is being done with Impeccable by Loops and Thread. It's 100% acrylic, 277 yards, available at Michael's. Loops and Threads is Michael's house brand. So, working on that. The third thing, working on that. The third thing I'm working on is an actual order. Wait, I should have 1, 2. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Is an order. And I think I showed you the yarn for this in the last video. But here is the prayer shawl being worked on. And a while back, prayer shawls were the thing that I was making the most. And there was this one particular color that was really selling very well, and then Lion Brand stopped it. And no color caught on since then, so I kind of stopped making them. But I've said this before, they need to come back, and not just because they sold in the sense of a sale, but they sold because people needed what they represented. People used to tell me the stories about their prayer shawls. Most of them were gifted to someone going through something. Some of them were for people who wanted to do meditation and needed a shawl or an item or a garment specifically for that. And so it was meeting a need. And when I do them, it meets a need for me. And I actually had written a prayer that I include with every sale of one. And So for more than just the monetary aspect of it, I should bring them back. And being strictly garter stitch, where you knit every stitch on every row, it's repetitive and also meditative. And then because the fabric comes up a little blue clayey and soft and squishy, to me it can hold a prayer and thoughts and sentiments. And so it should come back. I should bring them back. And I actually did purchase some fireside yarn. That's Hobby Lobby's um, equivalent to this. This is Lion Brand Homespun. And I also purchased some more Lion Brand Homespun. So I have enough to bring them back. And I think it would be meaningful in more ways than one for me to do that. So I think prayer shawls will soon find their way back. And prayer shawls are also, they're also a little bohemian. You know, that it's spirited and free. So it would either I can do them in either store, but I'm just going to do them in the Etsy shop, I think, because that's where they've been, and because it's a garment. So I can always double the size and make a blanket out of it, and I have made a blanket out of the homespun before, and they're very lovely. So that's the third thing I'm working on, and this is in order. And then the last thing I'm working on, oh, hold on a second, I'm almost done with that skein. The homespun, y'all remember, it is 185 yards, 98% acrylic, 2% other fiber, and they don't say what that filler is. This color is parfait, so like strawberry and vanilla ice cream, or pudding, or whatever. So that, and then this last thing I'm working on is I don't think I've made anything with this technique, but I'm digging on it. Let me see if I can get it. I am doing a Tunisian crochet blanket. And I am liking this stitch. I am liking how it's coming out. I'm using 2 stitches. This is the reverse stitch, and this is the knit stitch. That's the front. This is the back. And I am enjoying this. And this, I saw a picture of a blanket, and I knew it wasn't knit, even though this resembles the knit stitch. It's not knit. And I thought, well, wow, it is beautiful. And so I looked it up, and all I read was, I read that what was being used was the reverse stitch and the knit stitch. And so I looked them both up and I said, oh, okay. And the blanket looked good, so I reverse engineered and said, okay, this is probably how they did it. I don't know if that's how they did it or not, because I didn't. The pattern was free, but you had to sign up for the newsletter or sign up for something, give them your email address to get it. And I was like, okay, I'll just look at the picture. And I'll just put my designing skills to the test. And so I haven't read the pattern, but I imagine I'm doing it differently because I've already changed how I'm doing stuff a couple of times on it. But so this is going to be a blanket or an afghan. I'm using what is this? I'm using stash yarn, and this is vintage Windtuck. They don't make that anymore, and I have several skeins of this. A friend of mine's mother passed a few years back, and I got some of the yarn. So I'm using this Windtuck. You know, it doesn't even tell you how many yards there are. It says it's 99 grams, 3.5 ounces, 4-ply, 100% acrylic, but it doesn't tell me. Oh, and it's by Karen Windtuck, but it doesn't tell me how many yards. And it just rolled away from me. But I have several balls of it, so I'm using that. And oddly enough, another Karen. I'm using a Karen Big Cake in Cookie Crumble. So I got a lot of this. So using those two things. And that's it. That's what I got going on. Oh, I did not get a yarn acquisition. The rumor mill, and you've probably heard it on other channels, are going around that Hobby Lobby is doing its clearance early. And I was at my Hobby Lobby and I asked one of the clerks there when they were going to do the yarn clearance, and she said within the next couple of weeks. I have a feeling it's going to be next week. And I have that feeling because even though none of the yarn was reduced, knitting needles were. And so I picked up, if I can find where I put them. Yeah. So I picked up some Knitter's Pride. Oh, that's not it. Where is it? I know it's in here. Oh, there it is. I picked up some Knitter's Pride bamboo charm for the interchangeable needles. I picked up these tips, size 8, regularly $4.99, 99 cents. Size 7, regularly $4.99, 99 cents. Size 6, regular $3.99, 87 cents. And I actually think if I look on my receipt, she probably charged me 99 cents, but okay. And then I don't think these were reduced. I think these are the regular price, but they were so darn cute. that I don't know that I ever noticed them before. And I said, okay, these look cute and they're not expensive. $3. These are the Knitter's Pride Trends. This is the size 7. See the price? $3. $3 for that. And then I think they have something that, I don't know what they have against size 7. Maybe it's the green that have them $2 or $3, but this size 8 in purple, just $1.99, and the size 9 in this teal grayish, $1.99. And those are, I tend just to use 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't really, unless I'm making like a glove or something like that, I tend to stay within that range. So I thought, these just look like fun. So the next time I'm doing a flat or something that requires flats, that's just an empty zine racker. You didn't need to see that. Next time I'm doing something flat, I'll put them on there and see how that works. So yes, then that's really it. So it'll probably be another couple weeks before I see y'all again. And hopefully there'll be some finished stuff to see you. I almost certainly will have other projects started because that's how this works. Until then, spring is coming, renewal. We have a chance for renewal every day, a chance to do good and make something good and be something good. And that is my prayer for us, that we take those blessings to be something good and to do something good and create something good, to make everything good, or to make it gooder as we can. So with that, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his countenance shine upon you and give you peace. And I'll see you guys next time.